Sorry, I missed the block. That's much better. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 24th, 2026 Board of Education regular meeting for the Cuyahoga Heights Schools. Will the treasurer please call the roll?
Mrs. Apathy.
Here.
Ms. Pajeska.
Here.
Mr. Rossi.
Here.
Mrs. Deca.
Here.
Mr. Souchaki.
Here, 5 present, none absent. On behalf of the board, I would like to welcome all students, staff, parents, and interested community members to tonight's Board of Education meeting. The board values and encourages public comment on education issues. Anyone having an interest in the actions of the board may participate during the public comments portion of the meeting, and if so, please identify yourself on the board sign-in sheet. A copy of the board meeting agenda is available for review on the website, and we do ask silence cell phones during the meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this point, I'll entertain a motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, so I think Ms. Apathy made the motion and Ms. Deca seconds. Any discussion?
Yeah, there's one amendment to the agenda. I need to add an item under superintendent's items number 9. That would be employment of classified positions. It's for a bus driver we hired back on July 13th. Hired that individual at step 1. The intent was to hire that person at step 4, and it was a mistake on our part. Employee brought it to our attention, showed us documentation for where we had agreed to step 4, and so we're making that proper adjustment. And so I wanted to get that added so that we can have that corrected for the next payroll.
Okay.
And
Anything
I
else?
provided a copy of that so you could see that summary, and here's his application, full application too, just to
All
verify
right.
it.
Thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Apathy.
Aye.
Ms. Pajeska.
Aye.
Mr. Rossi. Mrs. Deca.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Comments from the public? Anybody signed in? No one has signed in. So let's go on to section 4, treasurer's business.
Okay, thank you. As for items 4A, 5A through 5E for approval tonight in the consent agenda.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for those items, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Rossi,
Second.
second by Ms. Pajeska. How did I know? I could have predicted that. All ears, Mr. Muccio.
All right. So let's look at our new vendors tonight. We just have a handful in item 5A. So if we look at that. We have West Music Company for instruments and music, approximately $1,000 from the general fund. Ready Field Solutions. Ground supplies, approximately $6,000 for the general fund. We have Eastside Jersey Dairy, doing business as Prairie Farms. That's for milk products for the cafeteria, approximately $18,000 from our food service fund. We have Sports Force Park Sandusky. That's for turf field maintenance and repair. That's $6,000 from our athletic facilities master plan account. We have the Greater Cleveland XC, which is doing business as GC XC Racing. That's cross-country meet fees, $250 from our athletic fund. And we have Algae, that is for flag line uniforms, $2,500 from the athletic fund. Let's see, aside from this, purchase orders over 5,000. We just have a handful tonight. So we have Tiffin Paper Company, that's for cafeteria lunch and trays, cups and napkins for fiscal 27, and blanket PO, that's $7,500 from the food service fund. We have our Prairie Farms, that is cafeteria milk products, blanket PO, that's $15,000, also from our 006 food service fund. We have Gordon Foods, cafeteria cleaning products from our 006 fund, $7,500. And we have Agile Sports Technologies Huddle for the entire district from our athletic fund, $10,800. We have our financial forecast from August that was presented at the last meeting, no changes for that. Donations received, we just have 3. We have Dennis Kushlak for the Hall of Fame, $500, we thank him. We have Disney, which is doing a matching donation of $5,000 for Stacy Manahan, so we thank them for their matching donation as a company. And we also have Tom Evans for his donation to the Larry Rogers Scholarship Fund, $200. So we thank all of our donations tonight. And we have one then and now certificate for Huddle Sports earlier. I ask for those items for approval tonight.
Okay, do we have any questions or discussion on those items? I'd like to add the board's thanks for their donations as well. Okay, hearing no other comments, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Rossi. Aye. Ms. Pajeska.
Aye.
Mrs. Apathy.
Aye.
Mrs. Decker.
Aye.
Mr. Suchaki.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Moving on to Treasurer's discussions and comments.
Just two items. We have our OSBA Capital Conference coming up. So we're going to have to take a roll call of everybody who's going to attend. If we open one of the attachments, we can see the dates of November 15th through the 17th. So what I can do is send out an email just to get a count of everybody who's interested. So I'll do that sometime this week.
You want to do that, or do you want to just do it right here?
We can do it right here. We're ready.
Well, it depends on fellow board members here. Do we
Yeah.
know yet? If not, we'll just wait for the email.
Yeah, I
looks
couldn't
like-
tell you on the spot right now.
Yeah, okay. We have some, okay, we aren't quite ready, so please do it with an email.
Yep.
Thank you.
And then the other discussion item is the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission. So Mr. Young and myself, we attended a meeting earlier this, actually last week, of superintendents and treasurers in Cuyahoga County, just talking about the Budget Commission and the request from the Budget Commission asking for certain data. We ultimately settled on a meeting that Cuyahoga County treasurers and superintendents are going to have the Budget Commission attend, which is September 24th. And at that meeting, we're going to work with the Budget Commission and kind of articulate our concerns about the information. And then we anticipate that everybody is going to sign the letter vocalizing or articulating what we're going to say at that meeting to hand over to the Budget Commission. So we'll have more information as we go, but we tentatively scheduled that for September 24th. That's going to be at the Parma Library Branch, I want to say. So, yeah, should be an interesting meeting, so I'm looking forward to it.
At the Snow Road one or the one on Ridge?
I think it's at Snow Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be, that's where their headquarters is, so.
That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Oh, short report this evening.
Yeah.
Any questions from the other board members for the treasurer? All right, let's move on to Section 8, Superintendent's Business.
Okay, on the consent agenda, I have items 8A and B, items 9A and then B that we recently added, 10A and B, 11A through C, and 12A through D for consideration.
Okay, entertain a motion for the superintendent's business.
So moved.
Okay, Mrs. Apathy? Second. Oh, we're on the either side, Mr. Rossi, okay.
Keeping you on our toes, Gary.
Make sure I'm staying alert and awake, thank you. Mr. Young?
All right, so the first item, this is the motion to approve the superintendent's request to enter into contracts for student activities for 2026-27. There are times where we need to enter into contracts with different vendors or to hire people related to student activities that needs to be done prior to board action. So this allows me to do that with, of course, prior communication with the board, should they be rare circumstances, and then we would approve any of those as necessary at the next meeting. It's just to ensure that we have so I think a good example would be prom. Your junior class goes out and they're looking at prom venues for the next year. They find a venue that's reasonably priced at a great location, and they want to secure it. They have to secure that prior to the next board meeting. All right, and this allows me to have communication with the board president or the board vice president. The president's not available to do that, so that we can get that process moving and secure that event, because we know there are at least 31 proms in Cuyahoga County alone. So they typically all happen on the same weekend. So that's just one example to do that. The second item, this is approved co-curricular activity event fees. These are not your Ohio High School Athletic Association fees. These are our typical school fees. So you'll see the document listed there is showing the things that we have changed, things that we've eliminated. for the 26-27 schedule. Went ahead and attached the 25-26 schedule so you could see what it changed from. So for example, cross-country varsity, it says for a particular events, $150 to $200 per team, whereas last year it was $85 to $100 per team. And a lot of that is tied to the increase in the timing system equipment that we have to rent to run our fall invitational, for example. So that is the 26-27 schedule. Next, under 9A, this is employment of a bus driver. The first is Richard Knight. Richard Knight, effective date was actually for today. The reason for that is there is a 1 week mandatory driver training that started today, and we want to get this individual on our school buses as soon as possible. It's not just the routine trips that we have of our daily routes, but it's also the non-routine trips of all the athletic events we have going on right now. So the sooner we can get that person up and going, the better. It's a 1 year limited contract. It is step 8. Bus drivers are hot commodities right now. This individual comes to us with experience in Southwest Ohio, in the Dayton and the Cincinnati area, was even a transportation coordinator at one point. So the person got married, moved to Northeast Ohio, was looking for a job. So Mr. Burek interviewed, individuals well qualified. So that's Mr. Knight. Letter B, this is what we talked about with Mr. Newell back on July 13th. We hired him at step 1. It should have been step 4. It was a typo in the transfer from us to Mrs. Deal, who put it on the board agenda. So we want to make sure that's correct. He brought it to our attention. He showed us the verification. That's the documentation I provided for you. It's based on largely on his last hourly rate that he had as well. Number 10, this is the to approve the faculty manager for Trinity football games. So you'll see in a later item, Trinity rents our football facility. We have a set amount of fees, renting the facility, paying for the EMS, the EMTs, paying for police, and also paying for custodial rates, and then a faculty manager. That faculty manager is not the same as our regular faculty manager tied to our chat contract, our teacher's contract. So Mr. Krenoff is being hired separate from the chat supplemental. This is tied to that rental agreement, and he did it last year. And it's good to have somebody familiar with the school district, familiar with our operations, who can assist with facilitating that rental. And we'll talk about that rental agreement here shortly. So Mr. Krenoff is recommended at the fee that is in the rental agreement. Letter B under number 10, these are our substitute teachers, our substitute teacher list. As a reminder, we do substitute teachers through the ESC of Northeast Ohio. They handle the applications, they handle the background checks, and then they submit a monthly list to us. You'll see some regulars, you'll see some new additions, and sometimes there's some eliminations. So we do have some additions this year. We have 3 additions to the list that we typically have. So it's good to have substitute teachers available. So that list is there. It's worth noting we set the rate for the substitute teachers, not the ESC. They just facilitate the onboarding process with them. All right, 11A, this is to approve educator mentor stipends. All right, so we have 2 types of mentors when a teacher is new to the district. One tied to brand new teachers fresh out of college. They're required to go through a 2-year resident educator mentorship program. And we have 2 individuals, Melissa Meadwell and Bailey Hedgedis, who are in their 2nd year. So Kristen Dillman and Mark Williams, respectively, will be their mentors. They were their year 1 mentors. And then we have any that are new to the district. It's at the same rate. So Jory Huffman will mentor Julia Soltis. Julia Soltis, as you remember, replaced Angelo Bertoloni when he retired last year. Letter B, these are to approve our supplemental positions per our miscellaneous pay rate schedule. So these are not tied to the chat contract. Every single one of these are ticket takers for the 26-27 school year. We typically get more of those. You never can get enough ticket takers, all right? Ticket takers are easy to find when it's sunny and warm. But when it's cold and snow's flying and it's a track meet in March. Tougher to get, so we'll take all we can get. 11C, this is approved supplemental positions tied to the chat contract. Okay, if I open that one attachment, this is a team leader change. So Mrs. Runger over in 3rd grade will be going out on parental leave in November. So she will not be able to fulfill a 100% supplemental contract. She is now going to split that with Madison Smith, her colleague in 3rd grade. So Mrs. Runger will take the first 40% of that contract, and then when she's out on parental leave, Mrs. Smith will take the other 60%. So that's why it's split that way. August, September, October, November is 4 months, and then the remaining 6 months then would go with Mrs. Smith. So that's how that works. June and July don't require any team leaders. That's why it's only 10 months there. Going back to the agenda, all right, these are agreements, contracts, and memberships. The first is Memorandum of Understanding with Cleveland State University's Student Teaching Placement Program. This is for the next 3 academic years, so it's 26, 27, 27, 28, 20, actually it appears to be 4. So they must have made this a 4-year contract. The last one was a 3-year, looking at it. This just is going to dictate how teachers are placed, what their requirements are, how they're background checked, if there are any stipends to be paid, how that is paid out. All of that is fulfilled here in this Memorandum of Understanding with Cleveland State University. We would do the same for the University of Akron if we had a student teacher placed here as well. We just know we've had several from Cleveland State over the last few years. Letter B, under number 12, this is the Trinity High School rental agreement to host home games at Ralph P. Adams Stadium during 26-27. There are 4 games that they are renting, August 28th, September 18th, October 2nd, and October 10th. If you open up that rental agreement, you can see what the exact dates are. We do play them at home this year as well, so Trinity will be here 5 times, and one of them is our game. Just looking to see if typically Mr. Garish would have what the itemized breakdown of the rental agreement is, so you can see that. I see it's not, what's that? Yeah, it's not attached. So I'll make sure I get that to you just so you can see it. It's typically $3,500 per game, I believe is what it has been in the past. And that has gone into an account that has accumulated over the last several years. And we used a good portion of that account to pay for the majority of the new scoreboard at the stadium. So the new scoreboard was not paid for out of the general fund. It was not paid for out of any PI account. It was paid for with the Trinity rental of our facility over the last 5 years. So, and then a donation from the Booster Club.
Mhm.
So it's important to know. Letter C, this is the approval of additional non-public school transportation requests. If you recall, we pay families and in lieu of transportation costs. This year it's approximately $638 for the year. We have 2 additional families that have requested non-public school transportation in lieu of costs, and they can be found in the administrative content to protect the identity of the students. Letter D, and I'm going to have Mr. Burek talk a little bit about this. This is our annual inter-district agreement that we have with the ESC of Northeast Ohio to subcontract a lot of our related service staff. That would be like our school psychologists, speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, educational aides, also known as paraprofessionals, as well as some other positions. There are advantages and disadvantages to utilize the ESC of Northeast Ohio, mostly advantages. That cost this year, I think I told you in my weekly update that cost is sitting somewhere around $1.3 million. All right, last year it was around $1.1 million. Now, it sounds like a huge increase, but actually Mr. Burek has been able to decrease costs to other entities and hire these people under the umbrella of the ESC of Northeast Ohio. So I was going to have him talk about that. And again, the majority of these positions are tied to student needs through our special education program.
Yeah, this is always tricky, because it is, like you said, based on student needs. So year to year, there's variability with this, and we work to constrain costs the best we can, but then not to decrease the services that go to our students and our teachers throughout the school day to support these students. One of the other things that wasn't on that original amount that Mr. Young shared with you was as-needed speech language pathologist. So we have somebody who's here 2 days a week, kind of carry overflow. There's also state numbers too for like different positions sometimes. So like there's certain numbers you want to stick with. Otherwise, they're going to quit because we're overworking them and go somewhere else that pays them more money to do the job the right way, which I think is what we do. So that's an additional $38,000 on top of that $1.3 million. So like you said, I'm going to kind of go with like Matt Muccio here. If we imagine a big pot, he talks about buckets, but this is a big pot, right? So we have a bunch of different providers that we typically use. For example, ESC is one, LLA is one, Language Learner Associates, and PSI is one. And sometimes there's other little entities that go into that mix too to provide support to our students. What's happened this year is, when we see somebody's going to be a more consistent position that we need year after year, it's not a temporary thing. We try to transfer them over to the ESC because it's a more cost-effective approach. There's some variables there though too, I'll talk about in a second, but we're always trying to see how do we maximize and get the best bang for our buck with what we're doing for students. So, previously I think we approved a LLA, requisition purchase order agreement for around $90,000. That just dropped down to $40,000 now. We're not even going to spend the whole $90,000 because I was able to get an SLP, that part-time person, for less money in the ESC. So it saved $8,000, but that's good. It saved $8,000 is good. So we're always trying to say, how do we do that? Sometimes we need to work with these companies because they have a greater ability to recruit a broader area than we do, because the onboarding process takes time. It takes resources here. So we also always try to balance it out, but at the same time too, if there's some things that we can do here to kind of decrease costs, we're always trying to do that. So when we look at last year's ESC amount compared to this year's, we're spending about $301,000 more, okay? But we're not spending $193,000 with the LLA that we spent last year between services that we initially approved as well as services that we needed throughout the year that were in addition because students' needs changed. We're also not spending $59,000 through PSI. So for $49,000 more, basically, we're going to get 2.5 more staff members. We're covering the 2% increase that ESC gave to their employees over the year. And another area that, again, is a kind of a little hidden thing, and even for our district, is insurance costs. We had 3 employees that didn't take insurance last year, take insurance, and that amounts to $79,000 in itself right there. Because a family plan could be $30,000 for a larger family. So those are some things that are always there, they're always available. We have to provide them by law. But those are numbers that kind of fluctuate a little bit that we can't necessarily control. Those things could change throughout the school year. It could happen with our district employees. An event could change where now one of the employees has to pick up family insurance where they previously only got paid off because there's certain events that trigger that ability to be able to change your insurance process. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. There's a lot of little numbers. I was trying to look at every different way that things kind of changed up and where things kind of go. So if everyone wants to have more questions for me on that, I could go through that with you individually because it would bore the group as a whole unless you really were interested in know how we do that. But this is a big part of the job that I take seriously. I always try to see how we can maximize services for the students of our district. And again, I think the ESC, as well as LLA and PSI, have been great partners. And they've been really good about the shifts that happen year to year because they understand this is how it works with schools trying to maximize their budgets.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're getting more for less.
We are. I mean, again,
I
and
like
again,
that.
sometimes those things, they help us from having to hire additional teaching staff. At times, because again, a lot of times it's the support that not just our kids need, but sometimes in the classroom, to have another adult there in the classroom. sometimes, depending on what the group needs are, is a huge asset to that teacher, you know, and our teachers let us know what areas we need help in. You know, one of the areas that we were really excited about was, you know, we had a tutor, a reading tutor that we hired, and we also hired a educational aide who are both certified teachers. You know, so we're able to get two younger teachers who are really, really good at what they do and bring them on into a position that's going to prepare them for long-term success as educators, as well as give us a great asset right now to our students and our staff. So I'm really excited about some of the people we're able to bring on board. One of the other educational aides we hired is a licensed social worker, you know, as well. So having like that type of resource available in positions that sometimes don't have that level of expertise is a big plus.
Very good. Well, thank you for the information and for the work that you did. Sounds, you moved the needle, and it sounds very good in a positive direction, so thank you.
And all that was captured in Mr. Muccio's forecast last week, which, you know, talks about the collaboration between our departments to ensure that these things are, they're not surprise needs. They're factored into his financial forecast. Those are all my items.
Okay. All right, let me figure out where we are at the moment.
Vote on the
Okay,
items.
that was, did we vote on the agenda?
You have to vote now.
We have to vote, okay.
Yep.
Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Appleby?
Aye.
Mr. Rossi?
Aye.
Ms. Pajeska?
Aye.
Mrs. Decker?
Aye.
Mr. Strachey?
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Moving on to section 14, discussion and comment.
Yeah, just a few things. It's been a great start to the school year. It's always year 32 for me. And as I said, you know, my weekly update, there's nothing like the first day of school. And when you see the students holding up their little signs, you know, I'm in first grade today, or I'm in Mrs. Runger's class, or something like that, the new outfits, the eagerness. There's never, nothing, it's really at the peak, right? It's just exciting to see. So, Mr. Rossi, I want to thank you again for giving you were the keynote speaker. He opened up Convocation last Monday morning, and again, was a message, you know, of teamwork, of gratitude, collaboration, and how, you know, it's all for the kids. It really is all about the kids here and how we all need to work together to continue to provide those services for the kids. They are the origin of our profession. Without them, you know, schools don't exist. So thank you for doing that. It actually complemented my conversation about gratitude as well. And I mentioned at the last meeting when Mr. Muccio gave his financial forecast, you know, and times it can seem uncertain or turbulent or however you view it, I feel like our school district has remained very steady. We're working well together. We're thoughtful. We're collaborative. We respect what the communities do for us, and we try to return that back as an outstanding product. And the multiple awards we received last year and the year before that, and we got the report card coming out here in the next 3 weeks. I'll do a presentation in October. You know, we'll still finish among the top in Ohio again, and it doesn't happen by accident. There's a lot of intentionality, and it's something that we need to be grateful for. Students and staff and a board and a community that are all working in unison with each other. So it complemented very well. So yeah, great start to the school year. In fact, kindergarten started today, so we got them back. Half of our pre-K started today. The other half tomorrow. We get all of pre-K or preschool back on Wednesday. We already have Labor Day around the corner, so that's coming on September 7th. And as I said, in September you'll have the state report cards going to be released. You'll notice, in case people ask you, U.S. News and World Report released their best high schools, and we did not make the list. We didn't make the list because we didn't hit. There are 6 indicators, and we didn't have data in 2 of the 6 indicators, so they can't rank us. Last year we were 29th in the whole entire state of Ohio and in the top 800 in the entire nation. We still are. But if you don't hit all those data points that they can create a comprehensive score, you don't get a rating. And that's why. I emailed U.S. News and World Report myself. It's like, how in the world can this? And we don't submit data. The state submits data on our behalf. And it's from the 23-24 school year. So as you get a ranking today, that ranking is based on 3 cohorts of kids ago. So you're saying, how did we not hit that? Well, what was going on 3 years ago? That's what you have to look at. And it's very hard to verify that data, which is why I don't give a lot of, it's nice to get the rankings, especially when you're doing well, but it's very difficult for us to validate and verify when we don't submit it ourselves. And I still question the data, but that's the answer I got and I can't do anything about it. So just in case you wonder, that's the reason why. We're still a top 50 school in Ohio
Thank you
on any
for
ranking.
figuring that out.
Yeah, we look at the data pretty deeply here, the student data, the staff data, the financial data. And we typically know where we should be, and when we're not, we know what questions to ask. But our facilities projects, you have anything to add about that? I mean, I think the roofing projects are finishing up
Ruben's finishing up with
next
the-
weekend, I believe.
Um,
The gyms look great. The lighting, how'd the lighting look Friday night? The football game?
Listen, somebody asked me that, I said, the lights are all on, and people don't ever complain when the lights are all on. Some of them are burnt out, then we're getting comments.
Yeah, you had LED lights, it was great. The other day, the sun was setting over in that direction, that northwest direction, and I could see all the numbers on the scoreboard. You know, it's not a fancy scoreboard. You know, somebody asked me, well, why didn't you get one that was bigger? I said, well, that was $100,000 more. So we're going to stick with this one right here. It keeps score, it keeps time, it tells you winners and losers, or ties if you play in soccer. That's all we needed to do. So we've got the South Gym bleachers are going to start here in a couple weeks as well. And again, all those are being paid for. The majority of all that's coming from our capital improvement plan and permanent improvement accounts. So it's not coming from the general fund. So feel really good about where we are. Correct? Correct. Okay.
Can I ask one question about the bleachers in the South Gym?
Mhm.
So I was at the volleyball game, the
Mhm.
first one. It was a busy, great first day because the soccer game was outside.
Mhm.
There were a ton of football players inside for the volleyball game, which
Mhm.
is great, but they're all, bigger kids. So some of the parents were asking, can they bring their own chairs in? Because there's gaps in between.
Yeah,
Because that night the bleachers were kind of.
the only concern I would have is that they're going to scuff the floor that we just had
That's what I was
refinished.
getting to is.
I could have
if
the football
there's-
players move.
I mean, they were great. They sat on the floor and they were all in a little, and it was fine.
You could set them
But I
up on the
just didn't
stage.
know
I
if,
mean,
like,
And
one-
Mr. Garish and I had spoken about this, so one of the things we're going to do is, we're gonna bring the 2 other bleachers that are on the opposite side over there as well.
Okay.
And then we're gonna set up chairs for the kids.
Okay,
So
perfect.
we have extra chairs we can bring in for the,
yeah, that
actually,
is a better
the
way to
bunches
go.
upstairs. So we've already planned
That
that out.
works,
He's
okay.
observed that being at the penalty.
Yeah, because I didn't see it getting much bigger of a crowd.
Yeah, all you gotta do is get rid
But-
of get rid of your bleachers and more people show up.
Right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so we're excited about that project, and that should be done by the first week of October. So things are progressing. Like I said, we're going to be in good shape going into the wintertime. And the next big thing we're going to do is the rest of the roofing project. So that'll be next summer. Anything else?
Now it's just more about things ahead instead of things behind us.
Yeah, that's right. Start planning for next year.
Okay. If there's nothing else, we'll move on to
Oh.
board business, or,
One more thing, meet the teachers, the open house over there. I don't know whose idea it was, but for the first time, seeing all those school buses outside like that with the school bus drivers on the buses was
Yeah, so
genius.
Mr. Burek started that last year, and
That
we
was
did it
great.
behind the building.
Okay, so
And
that's.
because we don't want anything to hit the archway now that we had it fixed,
Yeah.
we're limiting what's going to go underneath the archway now into the future. We did it out front so it was more visible. So that was something that was it last year or the year before?
So the state encourages schools to do that, give opportunities for families to do that. So again, we kind of put it out front and center, and we pass out some safety materials as well, and just beat the bus drivers, so.
Yeah, it was great. I
For
mean,
all students, but.
I usually go in the front and right up, so I didn't even realize it was out back before. But that presence, it was great.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. I like
It really
how
did.
it came out this year with that.
It really
Yeah.
did. So just wanted to mention that.
It's great. Thank you.
anything else? All right, moving into section 15, board business resolutions. We have a couple of items here. Approve appointment of a delegate and alternate delegate for the business meeting of the OSBA Delegate Assembly, so we'll have to figure out who that might be. Do we have any, we don't know who's attending yet. So we're kind of a little too early on this item.
No, it has to be done
Yeah.
in the month of August, so.
Has to be done in the month of August, okay.
So if you know for sure you're going.
And it starts on Sunday? Am I seeing that right?
It's Sunday evening.
Okay.
Yeah, Sunday evening, all day Monday, and then half the day Tuesday.
And this meeting is, I don't remember what day it is, second day, isn't it? It's not Monday, it's Tuesday. No, it's Monday.
Monday.
It's Monday.
Monday at 2:30, I think it says.
Yeah, is it there? Okay. So we need somebody who's going to be there to attend that meeting, a delegate and an alternate in case that person can't make it. Do we have any volunteers?
I'll be the alternate.
Okay.
I'll be the delegate, Gary.
Well, I think, did I do it last year? I think I did it last year. That'll be 2 years in a row. Nobody else wants to do it?
I'll do, I was gonna say, I'll do it.
They can't commit to it.
I think I can commit to it.
You can?
That would be good. You hear what some of the controversies are. You hear what's important to people that need to be worked on. Last year, it went a very long time.
Selling her on that.
What's that?
You're really selling her.
I was gonna
on
say.
that.
I'm really selling you. But it's interesting because you get to see all sorts, you really get to see what other boards are concerned about.
Yeah.
And what other individuals are concerned about.
Let's
what
vote
they
on
find
it
out.
first, Gary.
It is good.
Yeah.
Or she changes her mind. Yeah.
And we should share
That's
it.
good.
The same person shouldn't always
Yeah,
share.
that'd be great.
So, okay, so we have a designee and an alternate. Thank you. Thank yous to both of you. And then the second item that we have to do is approve the treasurer's attendance at a CPIM conference. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, Center for Public Investment Management Conference. So those are the two items for board business. I'll make that motion. Could I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Suchaki,
Aye?
Mrs. Decker,
Aye.
Mrs. Apathy,
Aye.
Ms. Pajeska,
Aye.
Mr. Rossi.
Motion passes 5-0. Three of those were easy because they didn't volunteer. Sorry. Board discussion, number 17. Any items to be discussed this evening? Okay. Any future agenda items?
Just wanted to point out, we have the special meeting, and I have that notice at 19B, so just want to make sure everything looks correct on 19B for this special meeting. So Wednesday, September 2nd, 6:30 PM here, and we have our purpose there, so, all right.
Okay.
I thought we were bumping that to 7, because I had asked that last time.
Is that-
What time works? You guys, works for me, I don't know. Do you want 7 or?
Yeah, because we had talked about, because you're coming from Brooklyn for a game, right? And I have one here at 6, so,
Go for the 7?
Sure.
okay.
7 o'clock.
Seven's okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll change the Wednesday, September 2nd meeting, which will be an executive session, the whole meeting, to 7 o'clock.
We're present at that meeting, correct?
I'm sorry?
Are you doing our evaluations at that meeting, or are you
Yes.
finalizing our evaluations? Is this,
We haven't, we will be doing them there. Then we'll
so you meet with us at a different time?
meet with you at a different.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Good point, good point.
It says that they're superintendent and treasurer evaluations, so I want to make sure you're not reviewing them at that time as opposed to completing them at that time.
Completing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
we're sitting down and figuring out what they're going to be at that time.
gotcha.
And then you get let in on the secret in the future.
As it, yeah. Time to be determined.
Okay.
That
Um,
works.
All right, so any other possible agenda items or discussion? Got all that covered? Okay, should be noted, moving into section 19, informational items, should be noted, Board of Education meeting members received their agenda several days prior to the meeting, and we've had time to study and ask questions and so on. We just talked about special meeting Wednesday, the September 2nd at 7 p.m. here in the Monterey Media Center. It will be an executive session. And then upcoming regular board meetings, all on Monday at 6 p.m., September 14th, September 28th, and October 12th. And at this point, I hereby move that the Board of Education adjourn to executive session pursuant to RC 121-22G1 for the purpose to consider appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, second by Mrs. Apathy. Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Souchaki?
Aye.
Mrs. Apathy?
Aye.
Ms. Pajeska?
Aye.
Mr. Rossi?
Aye.
Mrs. Decker?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. It is 6:41 PM. We are turning into executive session. No action will be taken when we reconvene. Thank you for being here.